Yo, we talking about groceries on FBA. Yo, easy. Yeah. J to the O, the Mayos. Groceries on FBA. What you know about that? Step your game up, suck it.
Okay, hey everybody, we're going to get started now, and we have Alex Moss here with us, and we're just going to go ahead and try and field some of all the questions that if you attended some of the other webinars, a lot of them were quite specific to cover new features of tactical arbitrage, but here we're going to hope to try and answer a lot of the questions that nobody ever gets to, or Alex or I haven't made videos of. You know, and there's a lot of questions. We were just going to help some individual people that may help the whole community, but there was so many people who seemed to have needed help that we figured we could just answer all the questions that were brought up. So if you hit the Q&A button so we don't miss anything in the chat, because I'm sure that's going to start rolling pretty quick. We do have a few things we want to cover that most people were having issues with, and we have a lot of questions that were asked in the Facebook group. And I think one of the main questions is, why do you get so many mismatched items? And you know, it's really comes down to the way you look at tactical arbitrage or any sourcing tool. You know, it's a tool that's there to help you and really just make things easier for you. It's not there to replace anything you're doing. It's there to save you, you know, hundreds of hours of time for me, maybe dozens of hours a week for you. And what that's going to do is narrow down your searches, make things a lot easier. You can look at, you know, thousands or hundreds of thousands of items where you may only be able to look at dozens. You can look at every product in the category instead of just guessing what you think it is. So with that, it's really going to make all the crap rise to the top, basically. And the way it does that is, you know, if it's a mismatch, it's not really the product you're looking for. It's matching one thing on the source to an item on Amazon, but you know, it's thought that's what it was. Amazon told Tactical Arbitrage, you know, that it was a match. Maybe because it didn't find the actual match, it's doing that. It kind of tries to make a guess. The API does, so that it makes it easier or always gives you a result. So it may find no result, and it comes back with that. You know, so in the end, you're finding there may be no matches every bad match. So if you have 200 bad matches, it's probably the way you're searching and not a problem with tactical arbitrage. And maybe if you open up your searches, and we're going to get into this a little later, but you really want to open up your searches to where you have a lot of products. So if you're finding 1,000 or thousands of products in one search, then you need to make your filters tighter. But if you're finding 10 items or you're finding 20 items that are all mismatches, or you know, just a couple dozen things, then you need to open up your search more because the filters are too tight. If you have 10 different filters you're running, then you're probably finding nothing good, and you need to open that up to, for every search, you know, I want to find a couple hundred things. Even if I remove half of that, I want to go a little bit more open than what I'm actually looking for. So if you want 50% ROI, I tell it 70% ROI, because if it's 51%, I don't want to throw that item away. So, you know, I'd rather remove a few things than to find nothing. And the people who are finding nothing, you're putting too much in there.
So regarding the mismatches, I don't want to leave any questions unturned in relation to mismatches. If anybody's got any specific questions about mismatches, I'm happy to field them now, because I'll tell you how it basically works. So what we first do is we examine whether or not there's a UPC on the page, a Universal Product Code. If we can extract that, we extract that and we match that with Amazon, and we get a really, really nice quality match. Great. there's about 100 sites on Tactical Arbitrage, possibly more after this week, that have UPC. And we're even going to make a setting in Tactical Arbitrage where you can actually select to operate only in UPC mode. So you'll only see the UPC sites, you'll only see the UPC matches, and then you can eliminate those title mismatches. Now, I personally wouldn't run it like that, but a newbie might, just to try and get a feel for how the system works. You can obviously also get a lot of extremely good title matches. Some websites, the titles are so well written with the brand and the name of the shoe that the match with Amazon is accurate almost all of the time. Other websites might be something really loose like large dog bowl, and there's no UPC on the page. Now, the thing is, we've set the software up so that it uses a website, okay, and the algorithm applies to that website. But category to category, the data on the page might change. So the clothing might be written really, really well with the brand and the name, but then over in the apparel, like in the gift section, it might have some really loose titles and no UPC, like large dog bowl. And we can't match large dog bowl to Hanes 20 litre large German Shepherd red dog bowl over on Amazon. It's just no way, because there's literally thousands and thousands. So the software, we're left with a bit of a dilemma. Do we remove the entire site, or do we keep the site knowing that there's going to be some mismatches in some categories? So we came up with a solution, and the solution's been working extremely well, where it's very, very simple for a user to go in and check on Amazon what the product might be and actually put the correct ASIN in there and save it. Now, what that automatically does is it saves it not just for that user, but for the entire database of users. And not only that, but you will often find that you found a profitable deal by making that match yourself. So you're helping the community. You're actually building up enough matches to get you a rebate at the end of the month, because we give rebates with a certain number of matches, and you're possibly finding yourself deals that you know nobody else has found because you just uncovered it. So you're finding deals that nobody else has found. So that solution is there. And we also put in what I call the lazy solution. So you see a completely two mismatched pictures. One's a Big Lots dog bowl, and one's just this random item on Amazon. You can just click mark as mismatch. It'll just remove the item from all searches for all people for all time and sit in a room called the mismatch room. Now, we'll be sending in like mechanical Turkers and virtual assistants, and we haven't sent in that army of ants yet. But essentially, at the moment, there's nothing to stop any member going in the mismatch room. And some people like to do it instead of their morning crossword. You can go in there and actually make those matches, and it'll put that item back into the system so that it's an accurate match again next time somebody searches that category. The two dog bowls are matching, and everybody sees it. And not only that, but it'll also store that match that you've made in a page of your own called your matches. So this is like this is a multiple pronged attack. Okay, so that it can be. There's no better matching than manually matching. The mismatch room is in the View Data drop-down menu, and it's about the fourth item down. Let me just check here. Yep, the mismatch page. And you can flick through domain by domain. You can sort of hang out and thinkgeek.com and see there's a few items there that could be matched. There might be like a Nintendo type style piece of clothing that you want to match up with Amazon that somebody has just casually hit the mismatch button, and you can then match it up. And so there's that. But also, sometimes people say to me, how come I am seeing mismatches in my filtered searches? Well, the best way to see if there's going to be a category that's giving really good searches is actually just to do a single page unfiltered. So if you look at a completely unfiltered page of results, you're going to see how well it matches. And you might find that it's 97% of all the matches are perfect. But the 3% that don't match, they're more likely, and this is the catch, they're more likely to slip through your filters, as Shawn was just explaining. So obviously a mismatched item will have a different price. So therefore it might trigger the over 50% return on investment filter. So therefore might show in your view data page. Does that make sense? So so you'll look at your view data page and go, oh, I've got like 5 good matches here, but I've also got 3 or 4 mismatches here. Well, the 3 or 4 mismatches have appeared because of the, you're showing things over 50%, but the mismatch item has got a mismatched price as well. So that's kind of how it happens. And that's where we currently draw on the kindness of the community to mark those as mismatches so that the next person doesn't see them. Or perhaps you wanted to be a little proactive and match it yourself and perhaps find a deal that you wouldn't otherwise see. And that's kind of how the mismatching works and why it appears. Ultimately, the software is extremely good. It's definitely excellent at finding UPC matches, and I'm very, very happy with the algorithms we've got in place for the title matches. But with a title like Large Dog Bowl, we're not going to be able to immediately match that ourselves. Now, one thing we are trying to do is inject in between UPC and title matching a image matching technology. So what's going to happen is it's going to look at the pixels over here, it's going to look at the pixels over on Amazon and see whether or not it can find a match. After it checks the UPC, then it checks if we're looking at an accurate image, and then it'll move to title. So it sounds like a good concept when you just explain it in one sentence, but the technology is quite complex, and it's not something that we are that far along with yet. But that is one of the algorithms that we're working on. And we're also looking at another set of algorithms which doesn't just analyze the title on the source page, but it also extracts key points from the descriptions on the source page as well, and uses that in the matching algorithms for the title to try and increase every few percent we increase is every few percent that we increase that matching is better. But ultimately, I think sending in an army of VAs to do those manual matches in the mismatch room, and the community working together, like crowdsourcing those matches, is even better than image matching and title matching. So I do hope that all makes sense. I encourage you to scan pages with no filter at all, just so you can play with the software and see how well that site is matching and whether that site is a really good category. One last thing I'll say is we used to use the AWS keys and we switched to MWS keys. Long-term users will understand that they originally used the product advertising API, and we've now moved to the MWS API. A lot of advantages came with that, but one of the I guess, I don't know if I'd call it a specific disadvantage, it certainly raised more queries, is that the MWS is a bit softer on a mismatch. So it'll show the exact same things that the product advertising API would, but the product advertising API would sometimes chuck something out the window and say, well, that's not a match, we'll chuck it away. The MWS keys keep a few more of those and say, well, let's also keep this because it could be a match. So it presents it to us all and says, I hope I've done the right thing. Here's what I think is a match. Some of them actually are matches. Some of them are deals that we wouldn't otherwise find. So it's good that we're getting that extra data, but we're also seeing a few more of those during the times that it doesn't match. So we're always working on the software, and you can be sure that I am not getting a lot of sleep. I work as many hours on the software as I possibly can to make it better and add as many features and sites as possible. Anyone who's been with me from the start knows that I never give up on this. But I hope that helps. I hope that helps explain the reasons why you'll at times see mismatches and how the filters can sometimes bring those to the top, like Shawn explained, and how you can proactively do something about those matches to make the entire set of matches. And we've literally crowdsourced matched nearly 25,000 matches since integrating that new feature. So it's every month it's just going to get better and cleaner and faster and nicer and smoother. And I just ask you all to just enjoy the matches that you do find and work on cleaning up the matches that aren't perfect, and just helping make it better. So does that all make sense? Michael Flanagan, by Grabthar's hammer. Hey Michael, how you going, man?
Yeah, I think by the chat that pretty much covered it. How to pick the right search each day. Check the promos on each site on Retail Me Not. That is actually the next question. But one thing I do want to cover, which was a big question, which exactly is, now this does pertain to, you know, the lists that I sell and other people sell, but I mean it's a huge question. I see it in the TA group a lot. And should you run a full list of a store? And you know, I really want to comment on this, because this is not what, you know, running that whole list is not why I created the list. You know, and you know, since people started making these lists, Alex has had to scale back because people were just going crazy. I mean, I don't have a list that's 25,000 lines long, but I know that people were trying to do bulk uploads of lists. I think you had one that was 25,000 lines, and it was just eating up so much memory that you know, you had to scale everything back. So the reason that I really made you know, I made these lists, you know, I started making them for myself, but you know, it's everything from a single store. You know, if you're looking at Walmart, there's 4.2 million items at Walmart, and people ask, you know, well, I've only searched 4 lines. Why is Tactical Arbitrage going so slow? Well, there's categories. You know, I've put together, you know, a complete list of every item at Walmart. I know exactly how many items there are, and it's a little over 4.2 million. There's categories that have over 100,000 items in a single subcategory, and there's thousands of subcategories on Walmart. So if you have, you know, if you think it's going slow, you really need to look at how much you're actually searching, because doing this manually, you know, how long would it take, or how many VAs would it take to do 100,000 items? And that's, you know, one subcategory of a subcategory on one site, and there's hundreds of sites. But beyond that, everything at a store, if you're working at any kind of big box store, then, you know, if you're looking at shoes or clothing, it's not going to be the same filters or results that you want to get from grocery or health and beauty. So, you know, what I recommend, don't take the first 400 lines at a store. You know, I've organized the lists that I sell and that we use ourselves by, usually by category and subcategory and subcategory, and that's what you should be looking at. And even if you have a list that's not organized like that, or if you made your own list, you should really be searching by the category specifically that you want to target. So if you want to do grocery, then you should just take the grocery items out of that list, you know, copy them into a new list and upload that. You're probably not going to finish in 24 hours, or the limit's been raised to 48 hours, but you know, you're going to get exactly what you're looking for. And you're probably missing a ton of good stuff if you were trying to get results based on, you know, something like doing a whole list, or the first 400 lines in your Walmart sourcing list.
Those bulk lists are great, Shawn. I can't even imagine how, when I first made the software, I made it for myself, and I you know, opening it up to the community obviously brings amazing third-party tools, and I would have loved to have had access to those lists when it was just me running my own software. It's basically saving, how many hours would it take to go through Walmart and extract every single category? It's crazy. And like, to be able to just get that list, and yeah, and people shouldn't just run the entire thing. I mean, one of the top things up of the list, I think, is like big oversized tools or something, you certainly don't want to like just start with that. You want to go through that and cherry pick the categories that are most suitable to your searches. I mean, you might want to pick the smaller tools like the screwdrivers and the wrenches and the tool sets, and you might want to pick some grocery items like you said, but those lists aren't designed to be just run from the top. And we actually had to change our algorithms because people were just importing the whole list and just trying to run it and say, how come I can't run this whole multiple thousand row list? And it was actually causing Tactical Arbitrage some problems in the back end because we were choking on these list sizes. But people really need to go through those lists that you've sent them and extract, as you said, the categories that are most suited towards what they're looking for.
Yeah, there's a ton of furniture. There's a ton of huge home improvement. You may not see it at the store, but there's a ton of that at places like Home Depot and Walmart and the just released Lowe's. And there's a lot of stuff you just can't sell. There's no point in searching. The fine. There's a whole set of fine jewelry. That includes real gold and real silver, which I'm sure nobody using Tactical Arbitrage is approved to sell. And
also, how do you
a ton of that stuff? There's
how do you match that stuff? I mean, there's
like 46,000 just in gold rings that contain gold or silver on Walmart.
Wow. I would avoid that category completely. Michael's got a good question here about I can answer part of it. So Michael, if it already sees that a product's in the list, it'll just say already got and just skip past it. So that's fine. But the question in relation to do the products overlap if there's a category for clothing and one for clothing men's and one for clothing men's pants? Is there any overlap in that particular?
Yes. Most of the lists that we have, if you're looking at the clothing, you're probably going to be looking at the whole thing. But again, this comes down to I didn't expect people to run the whole list. But if you do run clothing and then run clothing men's, it will skip them all. It'll say already got or whatever that message is. But I did it expecting people, to choose what they wanted. And somebody may want to search the whole. And we usually remove now the top level categories and only do the subcategories knowing what people are doing. And it's just going to waste server time. So almost all the top level categories we remove, and anything with one item in it, because there's usually a ton of categories that have a single item in it. So if it has anything more than that, we keep it in our sourcing list. So if it has two or more, and then if it's not the top level category, we're doing that as well. Before we move on, we do have a little bit of a deal for anybody who, just for the time of the webinar, we're going to give away some discounts just for the webinar, 25% off any of my sourcing lists. I'm going to go ahead and post in the chat the link to all of the lists. Of course, I haven't made every one of them, but I'll go ahead and share that with everybody. If anybody's interested, I'll just post a quick little link and then we'll move on, because I know there's a ton more questions. Actually, we'll do that for like the next 4 hours, just so if anybody's interested, you can use this code, webinar 25% off, and we talked about Lowe's as well. If you want to get the Lowe's list, I'm loving this list. We've been running it all day. Lowe's, Home Depot, and there's a few more that we have coming out. We just released this. I don't think we've even posted it in the group yet. This is for Lowe's. It's $29 for this one, just because it's so big. I think it has 3,700 categories. There's a ton of great stuff. I've been begging Alex for months to get Lowe's added. And
it was a hard one to add. We had to hard code it and integrate in like we had to basically tell it a zip code that we wanted to use it. And I don't know, it was tricky, but we've been there now. And we actually added Saks Fifth Avenue yesterday as well. So that's another big one with UPC, big department store with UPC.
So if anyone wants to try that, we'll leave those codes up for the next 4 hours or so.
So what are those two codes? Webinar 25 off gives 25% off.
Yeah, people were kind of posting in the middle. I posted the link to the Google Sheet for all of the lists. The discount, of course, is only for mine. If you use Webinar 25 off at checkout, you'll get that that 25% off of any of the lists I've made, bundles included, which it makes some of the lists as cheap as like $8 if you buy those bundles. And then the Gumroad list I posted, that link is for Lowe's, and it's 50% off right now. It's a brand new one, but I mean, it's a great list. I think everybody should be trying it out.
That's cool. Well, the Lowe's list is a bit of a no-brainer, because to get 3,400 categories for $14.50 or something is yeah. I mean,
it's ridiculous. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And there's not that many people in here that there's going to be any major competitive overlap. So
yeah. And there's so much stuff in there. I mean, they're like Home Depot and Walmart. They just have millions of items. So it's a great one. And just as a tip, we do great with the smaller stuff. We look at small hardware. The bags of screws, the box of screws don't weigh a whole lot. And we also look at like drawer hardware, the drawer pulls and hinges and plumbing supplies. All that little stuff does great. It does really good on Amazon. And, we haven't bought anything because we literally just finished that Lowe's list today, but I found a ton of stuff to go through, and we bought a lot of that stuff at Home Depot and IKEA. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we find at IKEA, the stuff we can ship, and is the small stuff in those little bags do great.
It's crazy, it's like there seems to be this mindset to get bogged down in Hasbro toys and then worry about brand restrictions and things. But we just added a site a couple of days ago called Newark, for instance. It's not UPC matched, but it matches by model number, and often that's a really good match anyway. And little things like a little tiny battery that you might use in a home hobby radio controlled car type project, and there'll just be pages and pages of these tiny little components. And you check the keeper graphs on these, and they're just like sale every day or every 2 days, sale, and there might be $6-7 profit per little tiny battery. And this, like Newark, for instance, if you buy one, it might be $2.75. But if you buy 4 of them, the price drops down to say $2.25. So we automatically calculate the return on investment based on the single buy component. But if you saw a profitable item there, then you'd probably go for the 4-pack and get the cheaper rate. So yeah, I think there's just so many products and so many thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of brands, and I just think getting bogged down in the conversations about Lego may or may not be restricted next week. I don't want to be rude, but it's essentially it's a bit short-sighted. There's just so much out there. There's an ocean of products.
I agree. We actually have on my website, if you don't have an account, ShawnMayo.com, we have a whole membership website. We update that list every day, and we have hundreds of items, especially if, most people know me for, groceries and health and beauty items, replenishables, and most people don't know that Amazon has a PDF file that's something like 130 pages long of what you're not allowed to sell. And including ingredients, products, created products that are also, ingredients and aren't just a base ingredient. People don't even think about a lot of these items. We put this all together in a page, as well as the product things, new things like Lego that, I can still sell Lego, but, if I can't one day, I don't care. I'll remove it, I'll sell it on eBay, and, I'll move on. There's millions of products out there. Of course, you want to know what not to sell, but I'm not going to sell all my stuff off, go find a different job. You just move on to those other things. And I don't sell I don't sell a ton of that stuff. I try and go as wide as I can,
Well, we're trying to cushion that conversation a little bit by adding some additional sources so that Tactical Arbitrage isn't just a source site to Amazon tool. We haven't talked about it a lot publicly, but we're currently working with APIs to add additional sourcing channels such as Walmart, Jet, eBay, that kind of thing. Tactical Arbitrage has got a long way to grow. It's extremely useful, I believe, in its current state, but I think that multiple sales channels will be an attractive feature for a lot of members, and then conversations like I can't sell Lego on Amazon anymore kind of go out the door if there's all those other places that you can list the products as well.
Yeah, definitely. So Joanne had a kind of a hard question to read, but when trying to do the Amazon flip, say looking for when Amazon drops the price to match a sale, how do you calculate the average Amazon sales price during the last amount of days and new sales price during the last amount of days? So she's asking what settings I think that she should do, and I probably should post this video again. I made a couple good videos when the flips first came out about how we set it. But Alex, maybe you can
my favorite kind of graph is one. Everybody's got their own favorite kind of graph with Keeper. Some people like graphs where it's $50 all the time, and then today it's $13, and you want to quickly grab it. And so the graph kind of looks like this. It's 50, 50, 50, and then there's a little tiny spike down to 13. It goes back up to 50, But my favorite kind of graph is one where Amazon is barely in stock. And when Amazon's in stock, the price is down at maybe $12.95. And when they're out of stock, the third-party sellers have that blue line up around the $50 mark. So what I like to do is, was it Vicky who asked this?
Joanne.
Joanne, sorry, Joanne. So what I like to do is I look for... I use in the second set of settings in Amazon Flips, and I can share my screen soon. We'll probably get to some screen sharing in a bit. But what I like to do is in the second set of settings, I'll put only analyze if Amazon has been in stock maybe 40% or less in the last, say, 60 days. And you can be more brutal than that. You can say 20% or less in the last 30 days. And I will calculate the average new sale price during the days when Amazon is not in stock, so only the third-party data, during the most recent days, like the last 14 days, for instance. And that will show me if recently Amazon's been out of stock and whether or not it's selling at a significantly higher price when Amazon is out of stock. So then you can sort of get that, you can look at that arbitrage opportunity a lot more clearly that way. I don't know if that completely answered your question, Joanne, but we can certainly get into Amazon Flips with some screen sharing in a little bit. There's a question that keeps coming up that I should field, which is about finding deals. And I know you sign up to some of the store emails and things, Shawn, which is a great system. Also, there's Retail Me Not links on most sites, but I wanted to sort of mention a feature that's coming in very soon. It's one of the most important features I'll be adding as soon as we've finished adding these 400 sites, which is very soon. We're going to be adding in like a coupon code ticker, which kind of puts the most recent deal at the top, and it's going to be for all of the sites on Tactical Arbitrage. So we're going to be extracting all of the coupons from not from Retail Me Not, but from their source places, like if you've heard of Commission Junction, the Link Share a Sale, a bunch of sites like that. Every time that somebody is like 25% off this category, use this code, that'll appear at the top of the ticker. So you'll be able to refer to that at any point and see that, say, Disney's got a deal on today. It just appeared on the ticker. They're having a site-wide 20% off. So you'll be able to just check this little ticker each day and see what kind of deals are there to help you select a better sourcing strategy for your searches.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you my my email. I have a special email set up. Hopefully we don't have to do this anymore. But every site that added to Tactical Arbitrage, we go to that site. We only buy the U.S. sites, of course. But whatever you're interested in, or whatever you think you might want to source at, this is what we do. I have an email address set up just for this, so you don't have to worry about getting a bunch of spam. As you can see, my primary email tab is empty because Gmail automatically sends all this to the promotions tab. And you can see
that's cool, man. That's really cool. That's like your own ticker. That's really that is the same thing. That's really cool.
So
smart.
Right. So as you can see, the times, all these emails that you see here are basically from today. So we're getting a ton of emails from all the supported sites. And, when they have, special deals, 48-hour deal, or, extra 30% off, or, extra 10% off everything in the store, including sale items, this is something we're going to want to look at. This will be our first stop. Then we're going to look and see what we can get for discounted gift cards. Then we're going to look and see what we can get for the cashback sites, and we're going to enter that into our search. And this is where we're going to want to search for the day. So this is how we decide. We don't say, I don't wake up in the morning. You should plot out your day. You should decide and and put research into this like any other business. And you need to decide and do research on what you want to do for the day. So I don't say, hey, I'm going to go look at Walmart today. Well, Walmart may be no different than it was yesterday or last week. But when you have these ads, you know exactly how much you're going to be getting off. So you get 10% off for this and another 10% off, and whatever the cashback is, before you know it, you're getting 30-35% off at a site for only a day or two at some site that nobody's ever heard of. And now you have a huge competitive advantage over other people. And today is just a normal day, but when you're looking at some of the U.S. holidays, they're doing 20-30% off sales at some of these smaller stores. And that's when it makes a huge difference for sourcing, because only the people who are signed up for these emails are finding out. A lot of times they're not being published to anywhere except the feeds like Alex talked about, or to their email subscribers. So if you're not doing this or searching somewhere that's doing the same thing, then you're really missing out, because you really need to take time and research where you're going to be searching for your products.
That is a pro tip right there. Even just this, that ticket that I'm talking about, it might take a little while for my developers to integrate. We've started some process on it, but you could do the email feed today. It's so easy to sign up for. The mailing list on any of these sites. They pretty much funnel you into their mailing list. They want you to be on their mailing list. So. Right,
and everybody doesn't have to do what I did. Everybody doesn't have to subscribe to hundreds of sites, but I like to give the most amount of information. And if I see something that's continually throwing out good deals to me, then I'm going to be much more inclined to go and create a category list for them, so I can do a lot more searching. And if you bought one of my bundles in the past, you may just want to go through that 20 or so sites, or however many lists you've bought. You should just sign up to those if those are the only stores you want to do. Or if there's some stores that you may have bought and you haven't been searching on, then definitely sign up for every mailing list, because you may not even be knowing about these deals. Sometimes it's an email only deal, or one of the other feeds. That's the only way that they're putting it out there. You may, like the one we were looking at, you had to use that code. They may not put that code on their website for everybody to get that discount, but if you know about it, then you're going to get the discount.
Yeah, and what it all comes down to is to turn this into a profitable business. It's a symbiosis. You've got to have, like for instance, what you're saying is you find your coupon, you stack it with a gift card perhaps. You might stack it with maybe Doubly is paying people this week, and because sometimes Doubly is a bit fickle, or maybe you're with Ebates and you're using a cashback site as well for those extra few percent. And then you type in all that data into Tactical Arbitrage before you even scan, and you're scanning specific categories based on what you know is going to have that percentage saving and give you the maximum return. And then you'll see those return on investments start to appear in a much more attractive light. You'll start getting those over 50% return on investments because you stacked in all those percentage discounts up front.
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to touch on Travis Ross asked about our lists being updated. We have updated several of them. Many of them we haven't because they just don't need it, you know. But everything that we posted, you know, as far as selling the category lists on Gumroad, it comes with free updates forever as long as we're updating them. When we update it, we're not going to sell it to you again. We have a couple that's in the queue that we're going to update. Of course, coming into Q4, a lot of them are adding a ton of products, especially, you know, places. I think Babies R Us. We see there's been a little bit of growth in quite a few of the categories, so we're going to update that. But really, what's going on in most of the stores, you know, they may stop selling products, but they're selling new products to add back into those categories. So the actual page counts, we're not seeing a big difference on. You know, a lot of them have 48, a lot of them have, you know, Walmart has 100 per page. So, you know, if they drop 20 and, you know, add 18 more in that same category, you know, that has to happen a lot of times before there's an actual difference in the page numbers. So, you know, we haven't seen a significant difference in a lot of the stores. A few of them we have, and we've updated them, and we send out a message to everybody who's bought that list or bought that bundle that they can download it. And you can go to gumroad.com. A lot of people don't know this. Go to gumroad.com/library, and you can see every item that you've ever bought on Gumroad, and you can download that forever. So we just update those files. We send an email out to everybody who's ever bought it, and then they can go right to their library and download the updated version.
And, you know, I was just thinking and actually sort of mentally reacting as well to something that Travis has said here. I think that the email method that you've got there is still good to do, even with the ticker that we're coming in, because a lot of those emails might say, this Friday we are having a 30% off deal. Now a coupon ticket is not going to show. That's not going to appear on there until the deal starts. But if you can be forewarned, then like Travis has said, you might accidentally spend 20% today, not knowing there's a deal coming up for 30%. So I think that it's probably wise to still look at your particular system there, and that might be another list for you, Shawn. You might want to like put out a list with direct links to all the email sign-up pages for all of these sites to make it nice and simple for people to create their own email.
Another thing to note is when you start going through these emails, you'll see that you know, they do promote things ahead of time, but you know, they're having sometimes one-day sales for Labor Day, Memorial Day, you know, Black Friday sales, and you know, you can search that site 3 days in advance. It might take you 3 days to go through a site that has a couple 100,000 items. But if it's a one-day sale, you get your message that morning in a feed or wherever. You're not going to have the time to search the whole site or even search the categories that the deal applies to. So if you get emails that are notifying you in advance, you can now also be searching those sites in advance. Okay, let's see, lots of questions. Actually, I don't get 20%. Okay, let me go back to our question list. Okay, so we covered how do I decide which stores.
I can answer an easy one there. John Wayne asks, could you match by EAN? Yes, we do already. So particularly if we're searching a UK store, the software basically does the same thing as the UPC matching, except it uses EAN. So that's already in place. So can I mark that one as answered? How do I mark that one as answered, Shawn?
You just click on
answer live or answer by text?
Just click answer live and it'll go to the other page. It's not showing me those for some reason, any of the Q&A. I don't know why. But another big question that has been asked over and over is about when it finds a UPC match, but there's multiple ones on Amazon, what happens in that situation?
Okay, so I've been speaking to Bob Steele about this. Bob and I had a great chat about this in Vegas, and you know, I totally understand the situation. A UPC matches, and there'll be a 33,000 ranked 4-pack, there'll be a 57,000 ranked 2-pack, and there'll be, for some reason, there'll be an almost unranked single pack, and another almost unranked 16-pack or something. So, so now ultimately, the software at the moment is taking the best ranked item with arguably the highest number of sales, and it's presenting that one for use. But there may be a couple of deals left on the table, and sometimes it's not even a multi-pack item. Sometimes Pie Face will be in there 3 times for that UPC, and one's got a really high price for some reason, but it's still like you know, for some crazy reason, selling 3 of them every week. So you might want to jump onto that particular ASIN, and so that's certainly something that we want to look at. So the way that it will be integrated will be a feature in settings kind of to show the multiple ranked these, and it'll kind of stack in the view data a little bit like we do with the variations in Amazon Flips, where the multiple items will appear for that one UPC. We began to sort of work on this before we closed the site, but then adding sites became the focus. So a few of these little things have backed up, but yes, that multiple UPC, possibly collecting some extra deals that have been missed will be integrated at some point as well. In the near future, we've got a lot to add. There's a lot coming. We're just at the tip of the iceberg so far, but there's a lot coming. It's going to be cool.
Awesome, awesome. So Tim asked, why are some of the items in the reverse search showing up out of stock even when the remove out of stock products box is ticked?
Oh, okay. So I actually believe that, and I got 2 emails about this as well. I actually believe that that was a bug that I received notification on yesterday. So I'm not sure how recently Tim has checked this, or maybe he's still using Cache. But let me see what they wrote about that specifically, because it was a very new feature, reverse search, and when we do a feature new and we think we've tested the hell out of it, that's when a couple of bugs slip through. But my developers sent me a notification on the 12th of September saying out of stock support added. So I've got to run some tests on the couple of ASIN that I've got here to test with, just to check. But I believe that should no longer be an issue. You may still see that happening with some cache items, because that's of the very nature of cache. But as cache expires over the next few days, you'll start seeing all of that working as expected. But if you do see that again, Tim, please shoot me another message, because I believe we've conquered that little out of stock issue, and yeah, let us know. And thanks for alerting us to it too, by the way. Now, in addition to Shawn's webinar here, I wanted to say that there's a couple of things that are coming to assist with custom support. One is a wiki. I I found the wiki software the other day. I started putting half a page up there. I've returned to sort of adding sites at the moment, but one of my first things to be doing in all my spare time is to make that wiki really comprehensive. And all the members who are regular users should know about it. So if by some chance I'm sleeping over here in Australia and you guys are wide awake and a new member asks a specific question, it should be very easy to refer them to the page on the wiki. And you guys are excellent at helping me answer some questions. But I'll also add a couple of people such as Christopher Grant and Shawn Mayo to become wiki contributors so that we can grow it faster. And if anybody else feels that they've got the writing style and the background with TA who wants to contribute to the wiki, they can definitely message me. And the faster we grow that with as much data in there as possible, with links to videos and whatnot, and we can therefore see holes and say, well, we could really do with a video on this particular feature because it's kind of a glaringly obvious one that we haven't covered yet. Then we can see that clearly in the wiki. So. Michael says, simple solution, Alex, just switch to US time. Michael's really helpful too. He's a tech wizard. He just elevated in conjunction with Nate McAllister, Storefront Stalker, to a bit of a level up, and he's really good at his tech stuff. And I'll be having a good chat to Michael about some of these features coming up too, to see some of his take on the tech side of things, because he's always a great contributor when it comes to that kind of thing. Thanks, Michael. The wiki page is not heavily advertised yet, Mary. We did post a link to it the other day because it's really kind of got nothing on there at the moment except for a bit of a test page. But I'll start putting at least the basics in there, and I'll post a link to that on the Facebook page and in the sidebar of the Facebook page in the very near future. I can't hear you, Shawn. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess I was muted. Rex had a question about Lowe's that I guess would probably be for both of us. Is the Lowe's list determined on your location? I know Alex stated he had trouble adding the site due to location-specific issues. And as far as the sourcing list we made, it's a list of all the categories, so obviously that has nothing to do with location. But the items are based on the online-only availability when we created the list. So I'm not sure as far as the sourcing to actually running that list, how that works on the Tactical Arbitrage side, though.
I'm not sure if it supports Lowe's, but there's a really cool extension by Christopher Grant called BrickSeek, which actually will let you know what stores stock certain items for those people who do like to do retail arbitrage as well. And I know it works for things like Target and Walmart and a few, but whether he's added Lowe's or going to add Lowe's, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to know if the list was
was
pulling that information, but it's only going to check the online available items. Is that how it works?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Michael says he's working with Chris on BrickSeek as well, so you know it's going to be good. It was already good. Chris actually did it Rev ROI as well, which I don't know if Shawn, you use Rev ROI. So nice.
Oh yeah, I use everything that Christopher Grant does. He's made quite a few good ideas.
Yeah, Rev ROI is a very cool little symbiotic tool for TA. Even I'm calling it TA now. So many people on my wall started calling it TA that I just I'm using the abbreviated myself. So we chewed up an hour really easy there. Do we have any questions that are relevant to some screen sharing, or are people familiar enough with the interface that they don't need us to share the screen? Definitely open to keeping this going a bit longer. I do need to take a little break to the little boys' room. If you want to kick it off for a minute there, Shawn, to field the question, and I'll be back in about 60 seconds.
No problem. Yeah, so if there was a lot of questions about the settings, and I definitely Would encourage everybody to create a free account. My site's completely free. As we said before, it has all of the restricted brands that we find. There's hundreds of them, as well as restricted items and ingredients that you may not necessarily know about. But we also have a free course on tactical arbitrage that has dozens of videos that we've created. Some of them have been posted on the Tactical Arbitrage site. Actually, a lot of them haven't been, but it's in a course format, so it kind of takes you through things in order, shows you how to create your own bulk list, shows you how to use my bulk list or ones others have created, all the settings for doing flips and reverse searches, and all of that stuff. So, if you're really iffy on what all each setting does, or you haven't used them because you don't quite understand what they're for, I do go through every setting in depth as far as the flips, and as well as doing store scans and the settings menu and how to create your own API at Walmart and all that stuff. If you need help with that, and I also have a ton of videos on YouTube, so you can just go look for Tactical Arbitrage on YouTube, or just search for my name, Shawn Mayo. When Amazon goes out of stock and only third parties are selling, price often goes up. Many goes from $25 to $50, but it's still $25 at Target and Walmart. So will items still sell at $50 on Amazon? The best answer for me, because I've been asked this literally hundreds of times, it doesn't matter what it's selling for at Walmart, at Target. All it matters is the sales velocity at Amazon, and what you can sell it for, what it's going to reasonably sell for on Amazon. And you look at Keepa to see your price history and to see how well it's selling. I also have, without trying to plug that too much, but on my website I made a complete course on using Keepa, because that's something that everybody should know that, and there's dozens of videos showing you what all those spikes mean and how to set alerts and all that stuff you really need to know. I mean, Keepa is probably one of the most important tools that you can use. I mean, it's even integrated into Tactical Arbitrage, and if you can't read that stuff, especially if you're doing flips, there's no point in doing flips if you don't know how to read a Keepa chart. So I go over all of that, you need to know how to set alerts. You need to know every jump in price. Using those third-party tools to tell you how many it's selling a month really can be way off a lot of times. So if you need to know quickly, but if you're going to make a big investment, whatever that means to your business, you really need to see actual historical data, not what someone else's algorithm is telling you it should sell for. And I know there's a lot of different tools out there that are doing it, and I've probably bought every one of them, and they all work on an algorithm based on the exact current sales rank. So if nothing is going to sell at whatever the rank is, if it's 10,000 or 50,000 or 200, that rank changes every single hour. If it doesn't sell, it goes up. If it does sell, that number is going to go down. And when it's sold, 35 in the last 30 days, that's projecting for the next 30 days at what the sales rank is right now. It doesn't, look at anything going up or down or any of that.
So there's a column coming to the view data page. There's actually a couple of columns. One's going to be number of reviews, but another column that's coming to the view data page is estimated number of sales. Now, the reason why we haven't done that yet is because I didn't really want to do the shortcut where it just looks at rank and does a multiplier and tells you this should sell 175 units a month. We're actually integrating some code that analyzes sales spikes and things like Keepa graphs, and actually counts, depending on price and current price, the number of spikes and frequency to give you a much more accurate estimated sales rank than just a arbitrary multiplication type figure. We may drop that in there in the interim because people are asking for it, but it won't be the final incarnation of it. The final incarnation will be a very nice estimated sales figure. But that column is coming, even if it's a version 1 column of it, with a version 2 update coming in the pipeline. So.
Something else I'd like to add. A lot of people ignore products because it has and this goes along the same line about there's not only competition from other stores like Walmart, but competition from other Amazon sellers. And the only thing you need to worry about is your competing sellers. So I ignore all merchant fulfilled sellers. If it's merchant fulfilled, it's not my target audience. My target audience is people who are not afraid to spend money. We're going to Amazon to get what they want. They're going to go to Amazon, search for it, and buy it from probably the buy box or one of the lowest prime sellers. I don't ever buy merchant fulfilled anymore because it's such a hard time, in the past doing returns and arguing with them. And I don't want to argue just because if I don't want something, I want to return it. That's the point of Amazon. People are paying $100 a year for fast shipping and hassle-free returns. And when you start acting like you're a premium seller, that's what you're going to get treated like. So I look at two things. I ignore all merchant fulfilled. So only look at Prime and only look at Prime at a competing price. So if you're selling an item for $10, who cares how many people are selling it for 30 or 25? Nobody's going to go to the fourth page and say, I'm going to buy from this guy because he has, because he's listing an item for 40 when there's another Prime seller selling it for 10. So only look at what you consider you're competing with. So I would look at competing, as probably no more than $5 unless it's, a higher item. But usually it's the lowest 2 or 3, depending on how many they have in stock. So, you really need to look at competing sellers and not waste your time at just total number of sellers, because the total number doesn't matter, just the competition.
I actually love it when an MF seller has the buy box, because I know I can price $2 higher than them and still get the buy box, because Amazon preferences FBA sellers.
Yeah, they definitely do. Okay, I'm not seeing a whole lot more questions. So when doing did we already cover this? When doing a reverse search, if a product is skipped because of seller's filter, why would it try and find it from a different store even though it already skipped it because of the seller's filter? Shouldn't it just go to the next product?
Oh yeah, okay, so this is an efficiency add-on. We've actually had this discussed a couple of times. So once the filter is triggered, it needs to immediately skip to the next product. So as it is at the moment, it's still taking a look at some of the other stores in our database, and we can probably skip, extra quarter of a second or a few seconds, depending on whether you're using cache or not. So yeah, there's an efficiency setting there. I've actually got that sitting in a side box to send to my developers, but I'm trying not to distract them with tasks that are not super pressing until the sites are in there, and then that can be just a little thing we clean up on day one when we're not adding sites. So we are aware of that, and thanks for bringing it to my attention again.
Okay, another question along those lines is how many sites are actually being looked at in the reverse search? I mean, are you looking at all the hundreds of sites when we do a reverse search?
Yes, all 400 sites, all 375 sites.
So, but it's only going to look for whatever country we're at. So if we're looking at U.S., it's only looking at the U.S. Sites for matches. Yeah.
So you can set it. The way reverse search works is if you go into the settings and you select UK, it'll do it for UK, and if you select it for Canada, it'll do it for Canada. So yeah, technically speaking, it's looking at 200 and what do we got? How many sites? How many US sites have we got? Oh, we got a lot of US sites. Nearly 300. It's the majority, of course. It's 285 as of yesterday, David. Now, does everyone know where to see the current list of sourcing domains? It's on the product search page. There's a big button, but you can easily access it from that link. If you want to save that link.
Oh, I was just about to post that.
Oh, no worries. Now, the reason why some of those are coloured, it's kind of there's a guy who works for me who cleans up the right-hand side panel next to each store. And if it's blue, it means a certain amount of data is in there. If there's green, there's a certain amount of data in there and whatnot. So it just helps me know. Oh, look, finish line is red. I should remove that from the list for now. The finish line changed some algorithms, so they're currently not working, but they will be again. I even have 5 Australian stores in there just for little old me.
You have a few Australian users, I think, don't you?
I do, but not everybody sort of sees the arbitrage opportunity from Australia, because our Australia post is so damn high. For me to ship a pound of product to America, it's around about $8 Australian. So that the arbitrage has to be that perfect amount. And I found some Star Wars toys last year that were like $50 out the Maya Center here. And I looked online, they were $269 US, extremely rare, nobody had them. And they were in the clearance section on the shelf here. The exact same barcode. It was a Hasbro toy. It was a black label toy. I drove from Maya to Maya to Maya, and I stocked up with maybe 25, shipped them all over, and made a few $1,000s for that little driving around.
I know there are a ton of toys that I see them, in the toy wholesale magazines that they're exclusives to Australia.
Yeah.
So I know there's a ton of good stuff there. Have you thought of listing in Japan?
Yeah,
I'll probably for you.
Japan to Japan. I'll probably do all my OAs normally country to the same country, but oh God, there's some opportunities there to do some US to UK for sure. That's why we put in the cross country to the cross country service, because that's grossly underutilized as well.
I'm telling you, one of my partners sells in the UK, and so he sells a bunch of stuff for me. I haven't been sending much lately, but it costs between $4 and $4.50 a pound. But when you start looking at groceries in the UK, I haven't even used TA for it yet, but there is just a ton of, everything that we buy, for $1 in the store, is like $20 because everybody wants, American stuff. And, just like here, we want the candy from Japan. The rest of the world wants the crackers and cookies from America.
Oh yeah, we can get a chocolate biscuit here called Tim Tams, and they often go on special for $1.50 or something. But you see what the prices of those go for on Amazon. You can get bundles of 10 for like $97. Crazy. Yeah. I mean, there's a meltable problem at the moment. Otherwise, I'd send a shipment maybe in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, January 1st.
October 1st.
I mean, October 1st, yeah, sorry. October 1st to April 1st. Yeah, well, now's a good time to be checking those things because, I run a grocery group, obviously. So the problem is Now you can scan stuff and see when it's restricted. They'll say it's restricted, but when you're in March and trying to buy Easter stuff to send to Amazon, and Easter is, last year was like 2 weeks before the multiples started. You didn't know if those items were going to be restricted or not. But right now you can scan stuff and see that it's restricted, and you'll be able to sell it, in a few weeks. But, when it comes the other way around, when you have 500 items that get marked as restricted and you have no idea, obviously, if it's a Kit Kat bar that's covered in chocolate, you can figure it out. But, there's a ton of stuff that, just doesn't work that way.
Do you have any other questions? We're actually, I'm personally looking to do a webinar fairly often on these kind of questions, and Shawn will obviously be a guest periodically on that as well. Because I feel that these Q&A webinars clear up a lot of, a lot of questions. They clear up a lot of questions people have and help get people on track. It's one thing to read it on a wiki, but it's another thing to sort of see it in use and ask questions as you think of them and get answers on the fly. Tim had a question. I'm just going to scroll back because I think I missed it. I almost missed it. Oh, is there plans for an undo button? So I did some queries on this. It seems like the most common thing people want to undo is accidentally hitting that X button when they are trying to save an item, or whether they're trying to mismatch an item. So it's more so that creating an undo button is quite a complicated concept because there's so many different variables that you could use undo for. But if 95% of all reasons for an undo button is accidentally hitting the X button, we just need to move the X button. So we just need to have a different system for where that X button is so that it's not right next to those other important buttons. So we'll probably do that as a first point of call, and work on something a little more complicated in reversing a task just done as a later thing. So we'll put a band-aid on it for now for you, Tim, in the near future, and then we'll expand on that later.
Yeah, let's see. Lots of talk of Tim Tams, but another thing that I've been asked how to do, obviously you can't do it right now. I don't know if it's on your feature list, but once you save items, you can't change the quantity, if you save it to another list.
Absolutely on the list. I have 64 pages at the moment of notes, and that's one of there's probably a handful that are going to be done in the very first week that are going to be just all these sort of smaller things that I've had multiple comments on that have kind of built up, and that's another one. Changing quantities on the save data page, it's a bit of a no-brainer. The other thing is that at the moment you can adjust filters after the fact in the view data page, but you can't. One filter that you can't adjust at the moment is your cost per pound to ship to Amazon and your cost to prep. So there may be reason to add that as well. There's a bunch of little things we're going to do just to polish up all those so that they're as variable as possible. We're also going to add some more CSV importing type things, say, for instance, to the save data room, so that if you've exported a list and you wanted to re-import it later to a different folder, you can mess around with it that way. There's a lot coming. In 64 pages, you can be assured that there's a lot coming. Some people want to actually place a note alongside each item they've got in the save data room, so that when their virtual assistant checks in later, they can see a little note saying, can you please buy 3 of these? Or can you please do this? and so we're going to make a little notepad type section inside there as well. I could go on and on. The list is so big, but I'm not ignoring any of the suggestions and cleanups, and we're just going to keep polishing this. There's just only so many hours in the day, and we're coming to the end of adding sites at the end of this week, and it's going to just be into all of the small stuff, because a lot of big stuff got in the way too, like add Amazon flips, add reverse product lookup, but lots of little stuff's coming too, like there's no real reason why you can't run a United Kingdom scan at the same time as a United States scan, and some of the UK guys do US arbitrage as well, so we're also going to split that so that you can run those two processes at the same time simultaneously too. So at the moment, you can run product search, flips, product variation scan, reverse scan. You can run all those at once, but pretty soon you'll be able to also add UK scan as well. Some people have messaged me and said that they want to have Amazon flips as a standalone product because all they do is Amazon flips. They don't do anything else. So we're also extracting Amazon flips to be its own beast as well. So there's a lot happening, and prioritizing it is important, and used books has been a big demand lately, and used books is coming as a priority for our next bigger feature. Lots of things. I could ramble on about TA all day. There's lots coming. It's not slowing down, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So could I. It was my favorite thing to really talk about lately. One other question, maybe just from me, but and I don't know if this is available through the API or not, but what about trade-ins? Any chance at looking at that? Like book trade-ins, you can do it with video games. You can sell them back to Amazon. There's been some Chrome extensions that have been created to do something similar, that shows you what, is worth trading in or not. It basically just highlights the items in the search page.
Yeah, that's cool. If you could send me a link to the extension so that I can drill down a little bit more into what the requirement is exactly. But absolutely, we can look at adding anything.
If that could be automated into Amazon, it's basically buying, items from third-party sellers and then trading it into Amazon. And then they give you a Amazon gift card for it. So you might be able to buy something for $3, but Amazon's paying $20 for a trade-in, and then reselling it however they sell it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I wasn't aware that Amazon did this trade-in feature. As many things as I know about Amazon, there's always a surprise up their sleeve. So I'm definitely keen to hear more about this. I'm sure it won't be hard to integrate. I'm just going to need to get into those pages and sort of see how that works. That's cool. Did everybody else know about trade-ins? Am I the only one in the dark about that?
Yeah, there's tons of people. People have even I haven't done it, but people have offered to pay me for my my sourcing list with Amazon gift cards, because at some point they get so much money. They do it a lot with textbooks. People buying used textbooks for $10, and Amazon's giving like $85, and they just keep flipping that. So all of a sudden, people have thousands of dollars worth of Amazon gift cards because they don't pay you in cash. So then I guess at some point you got to buy stuff from Amazon to actually, flip again to sell there. But
how on earth did I not know about this trade-in feature?
I thought you knew. Yeah, I thought you knew about that.
I thought I knew everything about Amazon too, but there you go. So that's great. I like this webinar. I've learned something new.
There's also
let's extract all
Zen Arbitrage. There's a software package called Zen Arbitrage that does the same thing. I've never used that one though.
I think because it's been so focused on new products that perhaps it's escaped me on my radar. But since we're bringing in the used product section, mostly to apply to books, but it'll definitely roll out to other categories as well. Then that's gonna make that trade-in section come alive as well. Thanks, Caesar. Is it Caesar or Cesar? Caesar, as in Julius Caesar? That's cool. I like that name.
Possibly. Our Blaylock said, since, as I said, we're only competing against lowest seller, should we not filter out products with many sellers? And I covered this a little earlier, but no, you shouldn't, because you don't know how many competing sellers you have. You know, especially on books and, you know, some of the toys, there could be 200 merchant fulfilled sellers because they're just downloading a list. You know, they could download a list of thousands of items from Walmart and upload them, and they don't even buy the product until it sells. You know, so you could have a ton of merchant fulfilled sellers. You really need to look at competing sellers, which, I mean, could be something that you might want to look at, Alex, maybe something with just, you know, sellers in a certain percentile of, you know, the buy box, or I never filter out the total number of sellers. You know, again, I don't care if there's 100 sellers on there. I'm worried about competing sellers. So people who are in the same price range as me and selling through Amazon Prime. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. I'll put down a note about that. That's definitely something we can do. For instance, yeah, I agree with you. If somebody's got an 89% rating, I'm not worried about competing against those guys at all.
Oh, so Michael Flanagan says trade-in value is part of MWS. That's great to know.
Thank you. I will drill into that trade-in section probably over this weekend, and I don't think that'll be a difficult feature to add because it'll tie in with the work that we're currently doing on the new books. So it'll just be a cobbled on the side thing to give that extra feature for trade-ins. So
when you put in a seller's filter of 50, is that just new sellers or both new and used combined?
That's just new sellers.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just new sellers.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael, for PMing me that. I'll check that out. Move. I'm making a few notes. Move the X button. Trade-ins.
Don't miss products because of lots of sellers. Right. So don't miss products because of lots of sellers. And again, if you're not finding enough products.
Oh, Deborah's asking about number. Sorry, I thought I sent a link. Go on, Sean. Yep.
Yeah. If I found, you know, when I search when you watch my YouTube videos, and I'm sure most of you have, you know, I use very little in the way of my search filters. I'm looking at a general percentile. I'm looking at a general ROI to stay under. You know, I'm looking at Amazon out of stock, of course. You almost always want to have that option checked. And I don't look at a whole lot else. If I have discounts, I'm going to put that in there because that's going to show me more stuff. And if I come back, you know, if I see everything getting added, item after item, page after page, and in a half hour I have 1,000 items that came back, then obviously my search is too loose. So, you know, if you're searching for hours and find a few hundred items, I think that's, you know, the sweet zone for me. I don't want to find 10 items, and I don't want to find 5,000 items from a search. But I want to be in that range of probably a few hundred. You know, if I have to delete half of them, how long does it take to click on the X or click on the little tick mark? So, you know, you definitely want to find a lot of stuff, or, you know, what's the mismatches and junk is going to come to the top. And I think a lot of people that I've personally talked to, I know for sure, this is what they're doing. You know, they think that they have to fill out, you know, every filter. You know, when in reality, you should be starting with a few. And if you get too many, well, delete your whole result list and tighten your search up. And, you know, instead of laboring months and not figuring it out and just giving up on another sourcing tool, you're going to be able to narrow it down. So, you know, just get rid of a lot of them filters until you figure out what everything does, and you can narrow down your search.
Okay, I'm going to quick fire some answers from this Q&A page. If you don't mind, I'm just going to plow through them one by one. Some of it we've already covered. Some of it. From this chat here, Lux asks if there's any way to filter by one column and then another column and then another column. David's probably got the best answer there. For now, that's easiest to do in Excel. That's a reasonably advanced addition. It's not a priority, but it's definitely not something I would rule out if enough people wanted it. Now, Dala Control actually asked at the start, how can I use Amazon Flips with Alex's Keeper keys? I read that he was opening it, but it is not working. So if you have removed your keys and there's not even so much as a space in the box, it will utilize my tokens. And you can also do bulk ASIN upload for that now too. If you're adding your own Keeper keys, you will unlock a couple of features for Keeper, for Amazon Flips, which includes live scans and also includes bulk category upload as well. Adrian Dupree asks, there seems to be a lot of mismatches for Coles. This is back before we had the big conversation about the mismatches at the start of the chat. So we covered that quite a lot, but Adrian, if you wanted to specifically private message me the category that you're having problems with, I'm going to be guessing that it's clothes or shoes, because clothes and shoes always have the highest number of mismatches, particularly where department stores have their own proprietary brands of clothing. So the software tries to match things, but it might be Coles' own line of clothes, and so there's more mismatches in that particular instance for that. Rex Lang asks, what is the best way to remove Amazon listings that are multiples of the same item that is a single? Do you get that question, Shawn? What is the best way to remove Amazon listings that are multiples of the same item that is a single? You're muted, Shawn.
Sorry, I'm not seeing.
I'm seeing all these questions in the Q&A box.
Right. I'm not seeing the Q&A. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Well,
I thought you were on the Q&A spreadsheet. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I don't know exactly what you mean, Rex. If you could clarify that. Tim, so I'll come back to you there, Rex. Tim says, we've already answered Tim's question. Marsha says, Shawn, if I look at the master list, how do I know which ones are yours? Okay, so you can't really tell, but Shawn has cross-checked the content of many of the other lists, so we can speak for the quality of the lists that aren't shown.
I think she's asking about the discount. If you click on it, it says Shawn Mayo as the seller. And I have, as far as the U.S. goes, I've made the great majority of all those lists. So if you have one you have a question about, just click on it, and at the top it's highlighted and says the name. So it'll have my name in there. Okay.
R. Blalock, how to pick the right site to search each day. We covered that with the email list and the Retail Me Not solution. What Tim says, why are some of the items in the reverse search showing up out of stock? We covered that. Oh, yeah, we've covered that one as well. Travis wants to know if we could do a screen share where we run a scan and decide which filters to use. We can do that. My wife's calling, but she can be put on hold. I'll come back to that last, Travis. Block asks, when Amazon goes out of stock and only third parties are selling, price often goes up, may go from 25 to 50, but still 25 at Target or Walmart. Oh yeah, we covered that one too. Sorry guys, I'm just seeing that there's a lot here that we didn't answer. Another request for live scanning.
Okay, so Rex wanted to know, when you search an item that returns a single, like a bottle of shampoo through the store site, but the match is a multi-pack like 4 on the same bottle of shampoo on Amazon. So I think he's asking what you do. You can just change the quantity. You just click edit, change quantity, and that's going to update all of the pricing as far as Amazon goes.
Yes, yes, you can update the quantity. You know, some people who are aware of what data is in the MWS API have messaged me and explained to me that you can automatically extract the quantity from the MWS. So in my experience, that data in the MWS is extremely inaccurate. So there might be a 4-pack and it doesn't have that data, or it might be a 2-pack and it says 4 in there. It's just it's so much more accurate if we match those via human. So we considered overriding every single entry in the database with what's in the MWS, but we're going to make a lot of incorrect items by doing that. It's one of the few things in the MWS API that we just cannot rely on for accuracy. So.
Yeah, it really depends on how people list the products. Because when you list an item, there's an option for quantity, but most people making multi-packs are not filling that out. They're putting it in the title or putting it in the description when they're not supposed to. They're also supposed to write pack or multi-pack if it's a multi-pack, and you're required, according to the Amazon terms of service, to write bundle if it's a product bundle. Most people aren't doing that, but it will narrow things down if you don't want to see bundles or multi-packs if you remove those words. If you put, bundle, pack, multi-pack, and anything else you see coming up for those multi-packs, set, words like that, if you remove those from your search, then you're going to remove a lot of that. But, we find a ton of multi-packs and single packs and, a lot of stuff in the grocery, health, and beauty categories that I would never want to skip. How hard is it to click edit and change it to 2 or change it to 4?
We're going to make it even easier. We're going to make it just a text box, because some people have messaged me saying that they don't like hitting that arrow 4 or 5 times. So it'll make it even easier.
Well, when we find a pack of 36, it's a little time consuming. A lot of canned goods are 12 packs and 24 packs, and
making you work for your money.
And then it's usually not worth buying. It's got to be like a 2,000% ROI before I even bother with it anymore, because when you go from 1 to 12 or 24, it really has an effect on your ROI.
Hey, Darla's just mentioned, can we have ways to get rid of words like pack and bundle? But that's already in there. It's one of the filters. You can actually remove pack, comma, bundle, comma, set, comma, count, comma, CT, comma. There's just lots of different words you can put in there to just, it'll just eliminate those items if you want to not see things like packs and bundles. Now that we've got the quantity feature in there, though, I actually recommend that you don't use that filter. I considered removing it, but I like to give you as much versatility as possible, so I've left it in there. But I think it's probably better to see those and update the quantity, because not only would you possibly find a good bundle deal, but it'll update that quantity for every single user in the system. So once it's updated in one place, every single person sees that correct quantity. And those quantities are getting cleaned up pretty quickly, a lot more quickly than mismatches. So I'm not overly concerned that the quantity feature is going to be a long-term thing anymore, because anything with a pack of 2 or a pack of 3 is now being marked correctly as a pack of 2 and a pack of 3. So yeah, crowdsourcing is great. I love it. It's really helped grow Tactical Arbitrage quickly, and having the rebate game as well. That's fun. I mean, you can play the rebate game and you can get $20 a month back. On some months, I give $20 a month back if you've matched a certain amount. Some months it's just 10 or 15. Some months, like this month, I'm giving away an Amazon Echo to whoever makes the most number of mismatches. Plus, of course, there's a second place, I think, gets an Amazon gift card, and the mismatch game is fun. People should play it. I put it in there to be a little bit of a distraction from the seriousness of this business, and to help make the database more accurate and cleaner over time. Jay Tellers asks, is there a way to do an Amazon.com to Amazon.co.uk search? Absolutely. It's on my list to add. So it's going to be like this. When the source and the site and the Amazon site you're selling on are not the same. So when it's UK to .com, then additionally in the list of sites that you can choose to source from, Amazon will be there as well. So you'll be able to search an Amazon page, and it'll automatically match it with the Amazon UK page. So that's also coming very soon. I think a lot of this stuff's going to come in the first 1 to 2 weeks of opening, because I think that's an easy thing to add that'll immediately add value to the site, and that's coming very soon too. So answer to your question, not right now, but very, very, very soon. It's something that I want to play with as well. I want to send stuff from Amazon.com to Amazon.co.uk and find a really easy way to make that match. And you know what's beautiful about it is the ASINs on all of the Amazons are the same across the board. So it's the same ASIN on .com for the same product as the same ASIN on .co.uk. So.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're already in the U.S., if we can do, Amazon Canada or Amazon Mexico, nobody talks about, to the U.S., that might be, a lot cheaper too.
Yeah, for sure.
I know there's some. I think there's some Canadian prep centers out there now. So going to a Canadian prep center and shipping right over the border, should not be. As huge of an expense as sending to the UK. Sending to the US from Australia at $8 a pound.
Yeah. Have I missed any questions? There is a couple more in the. Is it possible to standardize column order across all view screens? I guess I'll need a. Oh, okay. So. Maybe I get what this is about. In my rocket science mind, is this about reverse search? Because when I did reverse search in my mind, it would make more sense to have the Amazon on the left and the buy site on the right, because it's a reverse search. But actually, when I look at it, my brain has to do a little flip in my head to read it in the new format each time, and I'm wondering whether as well maybe we should standardize that back to the original format for all sites, including reverse, because it made perfect sense to me on paper that it would be the most logical way to read it, but I'm so used to seeing view data the way that I see it that I do have to spend that extra second in my head to read reverse search in that way. So if that's what you meant, I'm considering turning it back so that it's standardized across the board.
Okay, so our Blaylock again. I can't work in gated categories. What's a reliable target ROI in ungated categories? Finding it hard to get above 30%. Oh boy. Any opinion on best gated categories to first try and gain access to in terms of ease and edge of entry and profit potential? For one thing, there's almost no scenario where I would ever buy anything at 30%. And we find literally hundreds of items a day with Tactical Arbitrage, and there's no reason why you can't. I mean, I can't scan any faster. I have a ton of lists, of course, but there's nothing that I can do with Tactical Arbitrage that you can't do. I mean, everything I learn, I make a video about and teach people. So nobody is doing more with Tactical Arbitrage than someone else unless you're paying for multiple accounts. So really a reliable target ROI. Personally, I would never buy anything under 50% ROI. That's including shipping and everything else. But
I will. I mean, I go under 50%. There's a reason for that, though. It's purely based on rank and turnover. If I can see an item's going to move very quickly and has that lower return on investment, I'll still look at it for sure. Because there's not one investment that I can do on this planet where I can make 30% profit in 6 weeks. There's nothing that I can do that I can think of unless I got into Bitcoin in 2011, where I can get that kind of return on my $1,000 to $1,300 in such a short space of time. So ideally, I'm with Shawn. The higher, the better. But if I'm stuck for a product for some reason, and I'm not really in a position to get stuck for a product because I'm a bit like Shawn, can kind of know how to operate the system to get the best. But there's definitely no reason why I would personally overlook 30% if that turnover is there and the competition is right and the price is stable enough and maybe I'm not competing directly with Amazon on it. I would consider it. But I do hear where Shawn's coming from. There is heaps and heaps and heaps of profit out there above 50%, especially when you start incorporating in these site deals, 25% off here, or you're stacking those coupons. There's no reason why you can't find it. But if you've got enough capital lying around and you're at the end of the day and you want to get a few extra things, 30% is 30%. It's extra money for you to flip later. So,
right.
So yeah.
And that may be because, we find so much stuff. So, if I could make 100%, why would I want to make 30%?
That's
outside of the Amazon bubble, of course, that's a huge, huge profit, in any kind of business selling anything, 30%, for us, almost every 2 weeks, I'd say at least every month, whatever ROI you're making, you should be able to make that back at least once a month. It's hard to buy something, even in America, and get it to you and get it back to Amazon and be able to sell it before you get paid again. And shipped, of course. But if you're only getting, you can't find anything above 30%,
particularly advice for newbies, like you're an advanced user and honestly, you should take all of the tools that have been given today, like Shawn's bulk lists and Shawn's great pointer on those emails. I agree. That's gonna increase that ROI. But if you're a newbie and you're still learning FBA, it's really important for you to start working out how the system works and start getting some products on the shelf.
And I would definitely look at Christopher Grant's plugin, Rev
ROI
or Rev ROI? Rev ROI. There's a Rev Seller tool too. I get them mixed up. Rev ROI. That's going to show you the best cashback sites, the best gift cards. But also, if you want to look in advance, what I do, you have to go to the site to use that Rev ROI. So we use a site called Card Bear. They don't sell any gift cards, but they catalog all of them. They keep it always up to date, and they're going to show you the best sites to buy that gift card from. So when we find the email, we then go to Card Bear and match that up, with the best site, so we know what to put into Tactical Arbitrage. And we also use a site called Cashback Monitor. Cashbackmonitor.com, and that shows you all the cashback sites. If you use credit card points, if you use miles from any of those, anything related to cashback sites, they monitor all of them. And you may think the stuff stays the same, but cashback sites change almost every day, every week. Some of them are doing double cash back. If they only have 3%, you might be getting 6%, or from 5 to 10%. So literally every week we're buying from a different cashback site. So, it takes a couple extra minutes, but, we used to only use Ebates. or You Promise usually has a lot, but we've really found that a lot of them are, they negotiate deals. So for 1 week or just one weekend, they're getting a double cashback deal with a specific store. So it's always best to, to check those out. And you'll find if you're only doing 30%, it could easily get to 50% and quickly. Another thing we do as far as cashback cards, we started the cashback card site. Raise, we found, now if you're not in the US, you can't buy on Raise, but if you look at Raise, you can actually sort. It's one of the few sites you can sort by your cashback percentage. So we look at the highest cashback percentage and start there and work our way down, and then we'll start sourcing at that store. Because, sometimes you're getting 30%, 25% at some of those stores, and that makes a huge difference in your ROI.
That's great advice. I mean, do you use WVIP? W is a weird one because for a while they seemed to be upgrading their system and they wouldn't release the cash payouts. But, I was suspicious, maybe they're shutting down. But then the other day they sent me my money, and WVIP gives some pretty juicy percentages on some stores. That I don't know whether to fully endorse them.
Sorry.
No, you're right. I just don't know whether to fully endorse them because who knows if they're stable enough.
Yeah, I was actually dealing with some people in some other groups that they owed thousands to. And I know Sam Cohen's group, there was a bunch of people that they owed thousands to, and they quit using them. And then they ended up releasing everybody's money, though. So that's what happened. I heard that they were bought out by another somebody else.
Can I mention one more tip about stacking gift cards and things that I don't think many people will know? It's called, it uses Bitcoin and a thing called purse.io. Right, I've been using it in Australia periodically, but not for a while. So I'm maybe saying this without having checked to make sure that it still works the way that it used to work. So what would happen is you go to purse.io and you use Bitcoin to buy things from Amazon, but you can actually set an amount like 25% off. So because there's a lot of people in countries that earn Amazon gift cards, for example, but they don't know any way to convert that to cash in their country. So they'll basically get into this purse.io system and they'll accept 25% off Bitcoin price to unload their Amazon gift cards, and they'll buy things for you. Now you can't buy Amazon gift cards with this system. That's one of their rules. But the thing is, Amazon sells physical gift cards for lots of products. So back when they were active, I bought a whole bunch of, what's that sports shop that just closed down recently? That big sports
Sports
domain?
Authority?
Yeah, Sports Authority. I used purse.io and I spent some Bitcoin, and for 25% off, I got a bunch of Sports Authority gift cards sent to me. So I was able to get gift cards at 75% price. So I thought that was pretty good system. I just don't know if it's still 100% going. I need to triple check that before you quote me on it. But it's interesting. Yeah.
It says you can save 15% off on Amazon.
So 15% might be what they're doing automatically now, but it used to be they would automatically give you 8% off without you having to wait at all. Or if you type your request into the system and wait for somebody to jump on your offer, then eventually you'll get that 25%, or in some cases even 30%. But I found that because I was asking for gift cards that I needed to wait longer to get somebody to jump on my deal. But then of course you start building up like a rating, like a user rating, like, yes, this guy was honest, and this guy released the Bitcoin to me immediately. And then the next time you do it, somebody is more likely to use you based on your honesty system. So I wouldn't completely discount that. But then again, Amazon doesn't necessarily have that many gift cards for that many stores. So it's I never really got around to compiling the list of what the gift cards were on Amazon, cross-referencing it against Tactical Arbitrage, seeing if Purse.io was still operable. But that's another possible avenue to stack your percentages.
Yeah, it's. I was just looking at the site. I've never even heard of this place, but it says shoppers save an average of 20%. Create a wish list, choose a discount, and pay in Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah. So there might be a bit more research to do on that company. It worked for me when I did it with no dramas, but there might be a little bit more research to do on it. But potentially that's another source of getting a better percentage on cards. So.
Great. So we're about 2 hours in. I think we answered all the questions.
Yeah, if we missed you, my wife is texting me and cracking the whip, and at some point I need to make sure that she's a happy camper. And I really appreciate everybody coming out and spending a couple of hours with us. I hope we got to a lot of questions, and we didn't really do Travis's request to show Tactical Arbitrage in operation. So maybe we can set another event for that, where we can actually basically just jump straight into the sharing of screens, and you know, obviously we'll be doing those periodically anyway, but certainly we can keep your ears open on the walls and see what webinars are coming up, and we'll be doing more screen share ones in the future. But it's been nice to have a little bit of a you know, it feels a bit more intimate this way, just all us having a chat about different things, different features, different ways of using TA. I've enjoyed it.
Once we open back up, when Alex opens the doors back up, I'm sure there'll be lots of brand new questions again. So post your questions in Tactical Arbitrage, and we'll cover them next time. And of course, you can PM me with any questions you have, and you can create an account for free on my site. I have a free course on both Tactical Arbitrage and on using Keepa. You know, and everything's completely free on there. So, you know, take advantage of everything we put together. It's a lot easier than what you find on YouTube, because we can organize things and, you know, show you in order, and it's all sectioned off. And of course, look for Tactical Arbitrage on YouTube as well. Alex has made a lot of walkthrough videos for you guys, so any of those questions you may have, you can probably find in one of those places. And we'll post the link in the chat to those discounts again for the people who have been asking. And thanks everybody for coming. And I will send out a link to the replay. There's a 2-hour video, so it takes quite a long time to render. But probably within the next 24 hours, the replay will be up. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thanks, guys.